Hey everyone, this is Ashley with What's Up Under That. Today we have a special guest by the name of Nine Ajay. Um, Today we're just going to be talking about their journey as a parent, different methods of healing that it is that they are involved in, including Afro-Indigenous healing, just as well as overall their overall healing journey. So I am going to give them the floor to introduce themselves and just say a little bit about themselves in detail.
Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all. I'm Nina Jane. Um, I'm so excited to be on this podcast episode. It's definitely been a long time coming for me to join, someone's podcast, and thankfully I was, put in, tapped in to Ashley, and I'm grateful. I feel like, this is gonna be my sister right here for life. So definitely grateful for that. Um, I've been on this journey for a little while now, my healing journey. It hasn't been easy. It's rocky. It's a couple steps forward, couple steps back, but it's always divine. I feel like everything is divine timing for sure. Um, on my healing journey, I've definitely took up a lot like herbs and things. I've been using herbs a lot on my healing journey. That's really what kind of kept me going. That's really what helped me heal my mental, my physical, my spiritual, all those aspects of myself. I am a mother. I'm a mother of twin girls. I am also a non-binary person. So I go by they, them, they. I'm not sure what that is. I go by they, them. I do not go by she, her. I also I want people to know that even though I'm non-binary and I go by they, them, I don't go by he, him. I don't go by she, her. But I'm very much in tune with my masculine just as much as my feminine. However, I feel like I'm neither feminine or masculine. I'm just a being. You know what I'm saying? I could tap into that masculine more if that's what I wanted, or I could tap into my feminine more if that's what I wanted. But yes, so definitely into the herbs, into the healing, into the Afro-Indigenous technologies as far as healing. So not just herbs, things like Reiki and just aura healing, and all types of other examples that we can get further into in this podcast. But I'm excited to be here with everybody. So peace and bliss, and I hope everybody's vibrating well tonight.
Thank you so much. And I'm really, really excited to have you on here. I was just like, it's one of those things I was like to myself, it's been a long time coming, but at the end of the day, everything always happens in divine timing and as it should. So I'm really glad to have you on here. Now, I know just the conversations that it is that we've had, we've discussed, we have a lot of similarities with the work and things that it is that we do. And I don't think you mentioned this in there. What I'm trying to think of the way that it is that I want to put it. The way that you do, as far as like incorporate your spirituality and your healing and your herbs, how do you incorporate that same type of healing with your juicing? Because I know you did mention it. I have seen like your
Yeah.
posts and all the things of with you juicing and things as well.
Yes, so my juicing business has started under the business name of Our Essentials. I do juicing. I make juices for everything. You got kidney problems, I can make you a juice. You want to have healthy hair and nails, I can make you a juice. So yes, I do also incorporate my herbs into that. I can make a juice with like certain herbs, like ginger for one is a herb. Everybody juices ginger, but as far as things like my soursop leaves, you know, or my mango leaves, you can definitely brew that, and then you can incorporate that into the juice. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I actually just started doing a little bit of research on that because I have some clients who need more of like a herbal supplement for their diabetes. I have a client who has diabetes. So what I did was I made her some juice. I made her like a cucumber juice. So I just juiced a bit of cucumbers. I poured some of that into the mason jars, and then I had already boiled the tea and all that. So it was cow's foot and nettle. And so with the little bit of cucumber juice that I had in there, I think I added some ginger juice as well. And then I added the tea in there. So she really had like a cucumber, cow's foot, nettle, mixture there going. And I actually just got word back from that client that she's doing great. Her sugar levels are doing great due to the cow's foot and it helping, balance the sugar in the body. And not only that, but she has been passing some parasites. So,
oh,
yes. So when she told me that, I was like, oh, I'm excited. Like, yes. So she was my first client she's not my first client with diabetes, but she's my first client that I made that tea for. So when she told me she was passing some parasites, I was like, okay, give thanks. That is amazing to hear. That means it's doing its job. It's working. So you can definitely incorporate your herbs into your juices. Definitely.
I would definitely have to say I have never heard of that before.
It's crazy. It's crazy because I didn't either.
It's honestly, I feel like that's really, like, they say when it comes to creating or just business wise, create your own lane. And throughout these last couple of years and everything, a lot of people have been getting into juicing and just really making their health a priority. But I honestly have to say, with all of the people that juice that I have met, you are the very first one that I have met that incorporates herbs into your juices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely a game changer because the juices are going to help. Definitely. They definitely have some type of nutrients. But the herbs is where it's at. So if I can get my juice and my herbs in one, so be it. That sounds amazing to me. So I definitely want to continue to experiment with that. I definitely looked up, a few recipes that maybe I could put together, or just a few ideas, and things like that. Just a little bit of knowledge. I really was just giving myself knowledge because it's so crazy you asked me that, because I literally just created that, and it's something that I want to go further with, because I feel like it could definitely be a thing,
No, I really feel like it could be for sure. And just even too, like, for me, I'm gonna be honest, I don't mind drinking teas, but honestly and truly, I love drinking juices more. Like,
yeah, and when you think about it, and it's sad, I don't want to say it's sad, but it's a little, heartbreaking to think about it like this, but who really, a lot of people are so busy with their life, they don't got time to boil some water and steep the tea and sit down and have the tea. But a lot of people, are juicing. So again, why not, combine the two so that you can get everything that you need with that one juice. So definitely,
And just as far as like with you juicing, what do you feel out of all the clients that you've worked with? Because I know like some people have a lot of people have different testimonials, but out of all the clients you've worked with, what would you say has been your most favorite testimonial from your clients?
Definitely the testimonial that I got today. I'm taking a little break from Facebook. I wish I could have posted it, but it was definitely the testimonial that I got today, because when she told me that something had came out while she was because she was like, oh, it's a little bit embarrassing, but I used the bathroom by myself. However, there was so and so when I was washing my sheets, and I was like, that's amazing. I was like, that's working, because this is a client who has type 2 diabetes, who also has to get surgery and had to get her sugar levels down in order to get this surgery to help her maintain a healthier lifestyle. And not only that, but my client has been 5 days free of no sugar. And this is really like a first for her, because when my clients come to me and they ask me about my juice and I make that juice for them, I curate it specifically towards what it is that they're working on. or what it is, that they want to do better, their diabetes, their eyesight, whatever it is. I always forewarn them, like, hey, when you drink these juices, you got to make sure that you're eating healthy. You want to stay away from anything that is, high in sugar, red meat, pork. Eat as clean as you can, and make sure that you're drinking spring water throughout the day as you're drinking these juices, so that it can aid the juice to go, throughout your body and throughout your blood, so that it can get working in the system. So I would definitely say that was my best testimonial. Passing of the parasites in the 5 days of no sugar, because as a black woman, she's a black woman, we eat bad. So the fact that she could stay away from her temptations just so that she could be healthy, and so that the juices, could do their thing, really made my day. So definitely made my day.
I really love to hear it, and that's a blessing for sure, because I know I told you, just even with me doing Ramadan takes a lot of discipline to be able to fast. So the fact that she was able to stay away from sugars for that duration of time, and not even just that, I feel like the biggest thing that's getting me is the fact that she was able to pass a parasite from doing the juices. And like, even with that, did she say like if she noticed anything like with her mood or her energy levels changing or anything like that?
So I'm not really sure. I don't think we talked about that. Let me go back and look at the messages, because I was texting her. And also, I'm not sure. Let me be clear, because I'm not sure if she passed the parasites from the juice or the juice tea. When I created the juices for her, I created three days of cow's foot nettle tea with the cucumber juice, and then the other ones were just it's called the diabetes buster, or the diabetes beater, however you want to put it, which was kale, cucumber, ginger, and lemon. The first 3 were the cow's nettle tea. She had to drink that for 3 days, because be mindful with cow's foot. You have people with diabetes have to be careful, because you can kind of like overdose on the tea, and it'll drop your blood sugar level too low. So I gave her 3 days of that, and I know she said that after she drank the tea is when she passed the parasites. So and then now she's on the juice, and she just said that she'd be using the bathroom regularly, which is really good. But she is doing great. Her sugar levels are dropping at a decent level, and staying maintained. I know she did tell me that, so that's really good. And I actually got this client through her daughter, who also has diabetes, type 2 diabetes. I don't think it's as progressed as her mother, but her testimonials are great as well. I make her a gut drink as well, which she feels like is really working. She tells me how she's using the restroom regularly, and she always has a problem using the bathroom. So that's really good to hear too.
And just as far as like with the herbs and everything, with everything that it is that you do, which one would you say has had the biggest impact on your journey?
So with the herbs, the biggest impact on my journey. So the one that has had the biggest impact is a herb called golden seal, which is made from I'm gonna have to use my phone. I can't think of it at this moment. Golden seal is made of a root, and I'm gonna give you the name of that root. However, I will explain. So this root, when I first started dealing with herbs, I was having a lot of toothaches. I have really bad teeth. I have missing teeth. I have like a missing front tooth, unfortunately. But all of this was due to stress, my environment that I was around the people that I was around, and really just I feel like I had postpartum for some years that I didn't know. I didn't know I had postpartum. So I was taking care of my children. I wasn't really taking care of myself as much as I should have. So I was having a lot of toothaches, a lot of infections in the mouth, and I started using this herb. And this herb healed an infection and abscess in my mouth within 3 days. and I've
Mm.
never in my life experienced anything like it. I always go to antibiotics, and at that point in my healing journey, I was just like, I don't want to continue using these Western pharmaceuticals. I'm good. They make me feel like crap. So I just stopped using them, and I turned to this herb. And when I tell you, it is amazing. I started using this herb on different things. I had some animals that were sick, and I know that this herb is a natural antibiotic. It's a natural like expelling, like it'll just get out whatever you need out of you. So I had a dog that had parvo. I gave it to the dog. The dog was healed in less than 24 hours. The dog just threw up everything that wasn't good for it, and yeah. And this has been a few dogs. So I had my brother call me one time. He's like, "Oh my god, my dog is sick. He knows that I'm into the herbs and I know how to heal
Mm.
stuff naturally." So he's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And I'm like, "Go and get some golden seal, put it in the dog's water, and you'll be good." And his dog is still alive to this day. So looking up now. So this is made from. It looks like they don't have it. It's made up of different few things. A few different things. Excuse me. I really wish I could get the name of this root for you. So it's a root. Back in the day, like in Africa, they used to chew this root, and it gives like a yellow tint. Sometimes. Um, but I know that it's made up of a few different things. It looks like here it's saying golden seal is like an actual plant. So it's an orange or a yellow cocoon. It's a herb in the buttercup family. So I might have been a little mistaken on, but from what I know, it was made up from a few different herbs. But the golden seal is definitely a go-to for a lot of healing things like herpes, your heart, your joints, your cholesterol. It's a natural antibiotic. It's a natural cleanser. It definitely helps with things as far as allergies as well, but definitely go to that as far as healing anything in the mouth, abscesses and toothaches and tooth infections, definitely.
I know with golden seal, I always hear a lot about it more so like paired with echinacea when
Uh-huh.
people are sick. Like, what effect does it have on the body as far as like, like if you have like the flu or
Mm-hmm.
just a regular cold or a virus or things like that? How does that pair with echinacea, so to speak?
So echinacea, I know, is really geared towards more of the flu and the cold symptoms. The golden seal is the antibiotic, which is the healer.
Mm.
So the echinacea stuff will fight cold and flu symptoms. The mucus, the coughing, the headaches, but the golden seal is the antibiotic. You see what I'm saying? It's the medicine.
Yeah.
Golden seal is
Okay.
really like a medicine, like a real life medicine. So definitely, yeah.
Man, that sounds like I need to go to Sprouts and add that to my
Please
my
do.
quote
By
unquote medicine
Yes,
cabinet,
yes,
cause
please do. By all means, get you. I listen. I tell you right now, I go in my cabinet and I got some golden seal. That is one herb that is going to forever be found in my home because the moment that I get a toothache, the moment that somebody's feeling like they coming down with a fever, I'm either gonna give you a little droplet in some water or the powder. And let's talk about that. The droplets, the liquid and the powder. As far as golden seal, for me, they work exactly the same. Um, in the one that I get, when I get the liquid, I'm making sure I'm getting the most organic thing possible. No alcohol or anything like that. But the golden seal liquid and the golden seal powder will work the same. So don't fluster yourself about, oh, should I get the powder? Or, oh, should I get the
hmm.
liquid? They both work the same. Yeah.
So like how they say like with essential oils, like the staples to have are tea tree, lavender, peppermint, and like lemon and stuff like that. Would you say golden seal is one of those herbs that like if like say for example you were making somebody like a starter herb kit for their home, would you say that golden seal is something that needs to be a staple in the home?
I would definitely say so. Yes, I feel like a lot of the staple herbs they say are like bro, that's just like regular, like lavender, cool, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
lemon, definitely, but lime, really. Like, all the staple herbs that the starter herbs are not for me. It's like, no, you gotta. So you want other things other than that. For me, I think the starter herbs would be like, for one, nobody ever says cinnamon. Keep you some cinnamon in your house. Okay, definitely golden seal. Hibiscus is a tea, which I'm drinking right now. I just made a tea of like rosemary, hibiscus, ginger, and burdock root. That's another one. Keep burdock in your house. It's a blood purifier. You can drink it after every meal, and it'll help cleanse out whatever you may have just eaten. Same thing with the cow's foot. Same thing with the nettle. You can have that after you have something to drink. Soursop leaves, mango leaves. Nobody ever talks about the real healing herbs. You can get lavender. You can
Mm-hmm.
get lavender all day, but nobody's really making lavender tea. I mean, in my perspective, I do not use lavender for tea. I use lavender for other things. I mostly use lavender oil for.
Mm-hmm.
I really use it for my underarms. To be real with you, it keeps me smelling fresh all day. And I use it as like an oil to put on me, like versus perfume and things. I'll use lavender oil. Sometimes I'll put dried lavender in a sock for my daughter who has autism and anxiety, and she'll sleep with that, and she'll sniff it, like that. I'll put it in. I do smoke herb, so I'll put it with my herb. I put some herbs with my herb and things like that. But I'm not really making lavender tea, and that's just me. There is like a certain tea I make, which is really like a fruity fresca that I'll probably make in like the spring or summer. It's like a lemonade, and I'll add lavender flavor. But I'm not really personally making lavender tea, so that's not something that I would, tell people. Yeah, keep this in your house. No, you want to get that burdock. You want to get that golden seal. You want to get the roots that are not really heard of when you think of starter herbs.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you for sure, because I know for me personally, I only really use lavender like if I'm making yoni steams, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Like, I feel like with lavender, and I don't know if you like work with these in terms of like energy when you're making your teas and stuff, but for me as well, I know a lot of people think of lavender as like a feminine type of like smelling scent, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize that lavender is a masculine scent.
Yes, yeah, it's a
And it's
masculine
like
plant as well. Mm-hmm.
it's very, in teas it can taste bitter and very
Yeah.
overpowering.
And that's exactly the reason why I don't use it in teas, because it will overpower everything else that I put in it, and I'm not a
Hmm.
fan of that. So yeah, definitely.
I know you mentioned the burdock root and the nettle as well. Like, would you say that nettle is more so of a gentle cleanser and burdock is like, if you really trying to clear some stuff out, that's more so what you will go to? Or like, where do you feel they are, like if you were to put them neck to neck?
Okay. So from my experience, neck to neck, ooh, that's so deep. So burdock, okay, so nettle I would definitely say is not as gentle as burdock. Burdock is something you can drink just about every day. Nettle, you want to stick to it about two to maybe three times a week. And this is just from my experience, because nettle will clean you out. Nettle is
Dang.
definitely a purifier, and it'll clean you out. But nettle is definitely an amazing herb. I love nettle. Just as far as keeping my body detox and keeping my body clean. And burdock as well. It's really great paired with sea moss. Sea moss has the 99 minerals, or I think it's 98 minerals that you need, and then mm, burdock, and there's another herb that will complete and give you that 100 minerals that you need every day.
That's real crazy, because nettle almost kind of like reminds you, like when you see two people and you think like one person is gonna be like that one and it ends up being like the other person, I would have never imagined that nettle is the one that's more stronger than burdock root. And I think it's too is because, you know, just from my experience with them, roots tend to be a lot more stronger than the leaves. So I would have never suspected that nettle was the one that's like more stronger than burdock root.
Yeah, because nettle is an anti-inflammatory, it's an antioxidant, it's anti-infectious. So if you have an infection, it's going to clear that out. Kind of like golden seal, but golden seal is a root. I believe that you can have, I believe that nettle you can use the root, but a lot of people use the whole plant. So you're still getting all of that. You're getting all of those benefits. Nettle is amazing. It's a cardiovascular. It helps, prevent cardiovascular diseases, which is with the heart. But it's really in all parts of nettle. So you can use the root, you can use the stems, you can use the leaves, you can use the seeds. All of it is going to be beneficial. When you buy nettle, you'll see that it looks like it's this tea that's mixed with a bunch of stuff, but it's really just the whole plant.
Mm-hmm.
So within that tea, you'll have the root, the stem, again, the seeds. You'll have all of that in there. So it's definitely amazing.
Now, I wanted to ask you this as well, just as far as I know, we talked about it just a little bit, not too much in depth. You mentioned just sexual trauma that it is that you went through in the past. What healing, because I know I have a lot of women that I've worked with that have dealt with sexual trauma. What do you feel has been the most beneficial for you with that aspect of your journey? Like whether it be herbs, modalities, or just what do you feel like overall has been beneficial to your healing?
I would definitely say that a lot of things. I think one of the most beneficial is definitely going towards certain teas or certain herbs that are able to help relax the body, relax the nervous system, such as ashwagandha, such as maca root powder, and things like that. Also with that, a lot of shadow work. I know a lot of people get, kind of, intimidated by doing shadow work because they think, the shadows, well, you can't get to the light without the dark. But a lot of it was shadow work, being alone, and being okay with being alone. A lot of it was really going back to my trauma and re-experiencing it in a way. And what I mean by that, going back to it, if I felt like I had to talk about it, like a situation that happened exactly, whether I was going to get a flashback or not, that really helped me come out of my trauma. I was able to speak it out loud. A lot of times we aren't able to just speak it out loud because we don't have the safe space to do so. So I really feel like that was something that helped me come out of that. Meditation, yoga, I want to say plant medicine such as hape, such as mushrooms, and things like that have definitely helped me on my journey. And they've all aided me in different ways. I can't really say that one was better than the other because, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it took a village of different things to help me overcome, or not even, overcome and get through and be able to manage, my trauma, because even now that I've done all the work that I've done, it will still come up. It will still come up, and guess what? I will let myself go through it, but I won't let it take me out, for the whole day. I won't let it make me who I am or anything like that. So definitely those things. I would definitely say the teas. Something that I need to get back into, yoga was really a big one because I started doing, hip trauma therapy, like certain yoga poses that would open up my hips, because for a long time I couldn't sit crisscross because of the trauma. I still can't as much as I would like to, because again, I have to get back into my practice of doing yoga. But for the time that I was doing it, you feel such a difference. You feel this opening up, within your, your sacred area down there and your hips. And that opening just really goes through the whole body, and you feel this
Mm-hmm.
sense of relaxation. There's no more tension. There's no more tightness. You feel safe in your body. Dance is another thing that really got me through certain parts of my trauma, because it was moving stagnant energy that I was holding within my body. It don't matter how I move, whether I was, how I danced, as long as I moved my body to some type of music, I was able to move that stagnant energy that was, residing inside of me that I had to get out. So as far as sexual trauma, it's really all depending on what works for you. But I can definitely say get in tune with certain herbs, get in tune with moving your body, get in tune with meditation, get in tune with being by yourself and holding yourself and being able to cry. And I think one of the other biggest things that helped me was getting in tune with my inner child. I was literally lay and imagine my inner child, my younger self, the person who endured that trauma, and I would talk to her, and I'll be like, hey, we're not there anymore. Look at how far we've come. And I, even to this day, I was still going to visit her and talk to her and things like that. But I think the main one was when I visualized myself grabbing her hand and really kind of pulling her out of that darkness and saying, we don't have to live here anymore. We don't have to live in this trauma. We're free.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really one of the big things for me, is just getting in tune with her and talking to her and letting her know that I'm here.
I really loved how you touched on that aspect, just with sitting with your inner child, because I know one of my best friends, me and her and I were having that conversation here recently, just like about the things that she was dealing with her inner child. And I feel like so often, even for people that don't have kids, we get so stuck in this serious mode. It's almost kind of like we have become we've become exactly like our parents when it comes to the needs that our inner child is still asking us for. And it's always like, oh, I'll do it next week, or oh, I'll do it this time and I do it that time. And it's like, so often when we think of our spirit, in like an adult sense, and we don't think that maybe there is a part of our inner child that's making these requests.
Right. And yeah, that's for sure. Like, certain things I want to eat, if I got a sweet tooth, or certain things that I want to do, I've realized that maybe I just want to lay down and watch cartoons and cuddle up in a blanket and eat some ice cream. Maybe that's just my inner child. Maybe that's what my inner child wants to do. The adult me says, girl, you ain't got time to do none of that. Mm-hmm. But the inner child in me says, this is what I need to be able to move forward with my day, or to be able to, just kind of relax and just, what is the word I'm looking for? Call back your energy. I maybe need to go back and revert into a child. Mm-hmm. There's been days where I just want to lay in bed like a child, and my partner will be like, okay, just lay down, and I'll do the same for her. And that's just an example of what my inner child wants to do, and I have to honor that, because if I don't honor that, then I feel like I'm kind of just gonna be chaotic if I don't take that time to, like you said, not be so serious. So yeah,
when you had said the part when you had said about, oh, we don't have time for that. And a lot of times too, like, you just like sparked a whole little thought in my head. A lot of times, the biggest thing we don't realize, why our inner child is also trying to tell us, like, release this whole construct of time, because kids have to be taught that there is time, like there is a beginning and an ending to things. And it's like, sometimes it's almost kind of like there's some people that map their day out by the minute, like, oh, I'm gonna wake up at 7 and I'm gonna brush my teeth. By 7:05 I'm gonna have my coffee. By 7:15 I'm gonna journal. And it's like, whatever works for you. But I don't know, I'm the type of person, of course I need structure, especially because I have a child, but I need a sense of flow.
Yeah.
Because I've just found, when I'm too structured, or when I'm taking like, oh, it has to be this at this time and that time and that time, it makes me very, like, I've noticed this about myself lately, it makes me very irritable and angry.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna touch on that because I, when it comes to my kids, I've always had them on sort of like a schedule, but really like, oh, you eat it, you're having 3 meals a day, you're having 2 snacks a day, so and so and so. We're going to bed at this time, but throughout the day, again, like you said, I'm letting things flow because, like you say, you get angry when you're expecting things to be like this because you set it up to be like that, but the universe got other plans for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're frustrated and you're angry and you're irritable because it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, but it wasn't supposed to go that way. That's just what it is.
No, for sure. That's something.
So being able to just let things flow, I definitely agree. And when you're able to tune into yourself and let things flow, you're going to know what you need.
You really do have a point with that, because I know, just in general, another one of my friends, like, that's one of the things that she's always speaking to. And it's like, I feel like God put the set of friends that I have in my life to break me out of that, because literally every single one of my friends does not, unless it's for work or they have an appointment, none of my friends believe in the concept of time.
Yeah,
Like,
it's an illusion. It's an absolute. You want to know how I know it's an illusion? Because for one, you got to think about it. In another country somewhere, they are 7 years behind us, and we're in a whole nother year, in a whole nother time zone, a whole nother, era, and they're still back in. You know what I'm saying? It is nothing but an illusion. It is an illusion to keep you stagnant. It is an illusion to keep you brainwashed. Wake up at this time. Do this. Do you not feel like a robot? Now, granted, I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna try my best, to wake up, meditate, and all that. But if it don't happen, it don't happen. It wasn't meant for it to happen. It wasn't meant for me. Maybe I wanted to go to the grocery store. I didn't get to go. Maybe it just wasn't made. Maybe that grocery store is about to get shot up, and the universe said you need to sit your ass down and relax. That's a bit of an extreme of an example, but that's real life. It could have been a crash on the way, and you were supposed to be going somewhere, but the universe said, sorry, it's about to be something going down, so we're gonna keep you here. And a lot of us get so angry because we wanted to do this so bad. But if you just go with the flow of things and realize that it just wasn't meant for you to do that, then it becomes so much more peaceful when you're able to go with the flow. You become so much more at ease. Things just start to flow with ease. And again, when you're in tune and you're able to release, when you release, things come to you. So when you release the want to control your whole day, it's gonna come with ease. It's gonna be so much peace when you're able to just release that control, because we can't control everything.
that is the God honest truth. And honestly, it's like a lot of stuff, whenever I'm explaining things to people, like, I always explain it like in terms of either chakras or like masculine and feminine energy. And it's like a lot of people don't realize, even too, that whole term man-made goes so beyond just like items that are created. It's like, just like how you said, like with time is a whole thing that it is, that's man-made. Or just even too, when we think about the idea of energies, control, like being controlling is something of more so like when you are heavily in that masculine energy, so to speak, and you're not allowing things to just be, and really allowing things to flow.
Like a woman, the flow, yeah, okay. And you really just sparked a whole thought in my mind, girl, that would just go. I mean, I'm blowing people's minds because with this one, with what I'm about to say, as far as a man-made, it really just tapped into one time. And mind you, I was having sex with my partner at this time, and I had literally got a download, and it said basically that, like, I don't know how to put it. So this whole man-made thing, it put it into perspective of that download I got, where it said, Sister wives, when sister wives became sister wives, it was only sister wives. If that makes sense. There was no man. They were just sisters and they were wives. There was no man. Where did the man come from? We only asked for the man because we needed to bear children and we needed these houses built. But we didn't need a man to make anything. How about God is a woman? Now, people ain't gonna like that. Nobody's gonna like that. But God is a woman. In the Bible, when it said God created the heavens and the earth, God gave birth. What did it say? God gave birth to. God created. That is a woman. That is a womb. It only became a man. That's just like the word Ashe, right? It's Ashe, Ashe, and they turned it to Amen, Amen. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's deep.
That's why I said blowing people's minds with that one, because one time when I got that download, I started looking up stuff. I just started looking up things, and when I started saying Ashe, it literally clicked. Like they took it from an African traditional religion, which is Yoruba. They took that word Ashe and turned it into Amen. You cannot tell me. You can't tell me they didn't do it.
Damn, that's deep. And now I'm like over here, I'm like, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, you know how when you visualize something and you see the words in front of you, and I'm just like, dang.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why it's like when when people say man-made and God is a man, and they say, it ain't no, you can't tell me. You can't tell me that all of these beautiful things on this earth, the trees, the mountains, the volcanoes, all of that a man gave birth to it or created it. I don't believe it.
Now, with that, I know you mentioned in the very beginning of the episode with you being non-binary, and you know, I asked you like before the episode, like, do you mind explaining that in detail? Because I've never really had anybody explain, or even just their experience, what made them come to that. You know, when did they realize like this is what it is that I want for me, or this is what works for me, so to speak?
So for me, I think I first came to realize that I was a non-binary person. I really want to say a long time ago, but I just started expressing. So I want to say when I was about 16, 17, I was walking around my hometown with my friends in cargo shorts and snapbacks and boots and t-shirts because it felt comfortable for me. But even then, when I was younger, I was still very in tune with knowing that I was different somehow. So I used to tell people, oh, I'm just a person. Then as I got older and I started learning about non-binary and this and that, and I just started doing my own research, and you know, I came to terms with the fact that I am neither man and I am neither woman. I am neither masculine or feminine. I'm both. I can portray either. I can use my feminine, you know, my femininity when it comes to loving others and, you know, being a mother. I feel very feminine when I'm, you know, working with my herbs, and then with my masculine, again, I can be very loving. I can use that to love people, you know, in the way that they need. My masculine helps me feel very grounded. It helps me kind of be aware. And I think no matter whether I feel more feminine in that moment or masculine, I'm still just like, I'm just me, you know, I'm gender fluid. I'm content with being in the middle because everybody is masculine and feminine. Some people are just more in tune with one than the other. Some people want to walk around and look feminine and be sexy and you know, flaunt it all and go ahead, girl, do your thing. Some people want to be masculine and be strong. It's, you know, as long as you're in that balanced, healthy masculine as well as balanced, healthy feminine, you know, that's okay. I just personally feel like I am neither or, neither nor. I'm just me. I'm just a being. And don't refer to me as she, her, and don't refer to me as he, him, because I am them. I am very in tune with the Orisha Olokun, who is also what they call, there's a word for it, what's that word for it? Either way, they can be seen as feminine depending on what who is honoring them. You know, people from, I believe, people who practice Santeria, I believe, see Olokun as a male. And then again, just depending on the diaspora that you're in, Olokun can be a woman or a man or neither or both. So it's really just about how a person feels within themselves. I do tend to fall on the masculine side a lot, and I'm okay with that. I enjoy that. You know, I am, you know, I do have a partner who's a woman, and she's more feminine than me, and it really kind of just balances it out. And I like being in tune with my masculine. So again, it's just about how you feel, and I think people really need to actually start learning how to. You know, let me tell this story while we on here. I'm in the bathroom, right? And I got my daughters with me, and I'm like, hey, y'all, you know, because again, I teach my children early on. I'm like, y'all know how some women want to be men and some men want to transition into women, and of course they already know. They're like, yeah, and I'm like, well, how would you feel if I, you know, wanted to transition into a man or be more masculine? And they were like, one daughter was like, well, that's your choice. I'm like, okay, girl, like I'm liking the, you know, the feedback. So it just shows that teach your children young to not only accept people for who they are, but that they can be whoever they want to be. Thankfully, I had a mother who did not really care what you wanted to be. She said, just as long as you're not like worshiping the devil or something. That's what she was saying. Like, okay, girl. But she was very kind of open to you just being who you want to be. And I think that's what it all boils down to. Non-binary, trans, whatever you want to be whatever you want to be. And I feel like people need to respect people for whatever they want to be, because a man wanting to be a woman is not threatening to anybody. You know, unless they are a predator, but not everybody is. So I feel like just being able to accept people for who they feel like they are is really a big thing in the community, and just kind of learning about different terms and things like that, I feel like is important. I know people fear a lot of color, you know, Black people like us. A lot of people fear like, oh, this is being pushed on to my child in television shows and blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't support certain things at such an age, but talking to your child and letting them know, because talking to them isn't going to make them gay. You're talking to them to teach them how to accept others for who they are, and how to, you know, accept themselves if they ever feel like they don't feel like a woman, or they don't feel like a man, or, you know, things like that. It's really just supposed to be all love. It has to be all love, because it's really love that rules the world. So, you know, just my experience. My experience is really kind of fresh. But I have 3 trans sisters on my father's side. So I've kind of been in this game for a while, just, you know, knowing what I know. And it's not easy for those who do want to transition. It's definitely hard, especially with, you know, certain communities and people not being accepting. But really, just these people have a battle with themselves. They have like body dysmorphia sometimes. They'll look in the mirror and they'll be a woman, and they're like, this is not who I am. I have titties and ass and a vagina, and I didn't ask for it. So it really can be a big thing on the mental. I think lately that's kind of something that I've been dealing with. It's kind of like really just transitioning more to the masculine side. And again, that doesn't mean that I'm just, you know, abandoning my femininity, because like, I'm very in tune, and that's another thing that men gotta, you know, men gotta get in tune with, that you can be masculine and you can be feminine. I'm gonna tell you right now, any real woman gonna want a man that's in tune with his feminine side. Nobody wants a just macho man. Nobody want all that. And if they do, it's just toxic. I don't want no macho man. If I was that much into him, I don't want no macho man. I want a man who can, come get your feet down on me or something. You know what I'm saying? You know, a man who can be feminine. And feminine men, to me, in my personal opinion, feminine men are clean. They know how to wash their ass. They know how to cook. They don't mind cleaning, or cooking and things like that. So definitely, it's definitely a balance, and I think everybody, not just people who are trans or transitioning, or I think everybody has to get in tune with the fact that you are both masculine and feminine. Just depends on how you want to call yourself, but get in tune with both of them because it's all about balance.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's at the end of the day, it is all about balance, and just I feel like there was something that it was a video that I watched. I don't know if it was on TikTok or if it was on Instagram, and it said, which really put things into perspective. It said the reason why a lot of straight men hate gay men is because they either hate women or hate femininity, because at the end of the day, whether it's a gay man or whatever the case is, it's still a man. It's that aspect of them. And then when I was like sifting through the comments, people were like, it's not even just that, it's the confidence that they hold. It's the fact that they feel confident enough to be free and be themselves. And I mean, let's just be real. A lot in society, a lot of heterosexual men do not have that same freedom.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't really have that same freedom. And I feel like even too, I mean, some people might take this one way, because I talk about a lot. I have these conversations in private. I've never had the opportunity to really have this conversation with someone else like publicly, but it's like, I feel like too, a lot of the reasons why certain heterosexual men feel intimidated by gay men is because a lot of these heterosexual men are gay.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And
hell yeah.
They're afraid of, like, oh, what are these people gonna think? What is that? And it's like, sometimes it's sad when you really think about it, because just like how it's broken down with astrology, first through the 7th house is like personal, it's the people around you, but then the 7th through the 12th is interpersonal. Those are the people that you see every day. Those are the people that know the good and the bad and the ugly things about you. And it's like, a lot of times men may be put in positions where they're focused on the personal relationships that they have, that they're so focused on the interpersonal, they're not realizing there's a whole community that may be willing to support them, or if how a lot of men deal with not wanting to come out because of family disowning them. And just aside from that, you okay?
Oh yeah, girl. That's the herb, y'all.
I'm like, I don't want to be rude and keep
No.
Are you okay?
I'm really like, I don't want to be rude and keep smoking and I'm coughing, but you're hitting the nail on the head. Unfortunately, men are raised in a way to think that certain things are wrong. Certain things are not okay. And you said something that I wanted to tap into as well. I'm trying to go back and think about what it was. Oh yeah, how you were saying, how gay men, have this confidence. And I'm gonna tell you, that is one thing that I have always admired about my siblings who are trans. You have the confidence to walk these streets being what you feel like you are. And people who are straight don't even have that confidence, baby. Mm-hmm. So I love it. Like, I love the girls, what they call them, the girls, because I admire them. You're really out here being whoever you want to be, regardless. It's people out here getting killed for that. You understand me? Mm-hmm. So the fact that people still wake up every day and say, fuck it, I'm still going out and being who I am. Like, that is amazing. And gay or not, I feel like people need to take that and they need to, kind of mirror that. Like, take that as motivation. Like, you can really just go outside and be whoever you want to be. And unfortunately, some people can do that and not get killed. You know what I'm saying? as far as not being trans, like you can go out there and be whoever you want to be, but just keep in mind that there's some people who are going out there and doing that and they're getting murdered.
You know, too, and this might be kind of like a rabbit hole or a deep dive, but
get into it.
I wouldn't say just yesterday. This has been sitting on my mind for months. I've just been like, I like to get downloads, but I also like to certain areas do research to see, you know, if the research matches up with the download that I'm getting. And, you know, one of the things that always gets me is just how, just with homosexuality and everything like that, that is something that is more so shunned by the government, because the government is the one that says it's wrong. But it's like, think about it like this too. That same government is the one that had slaves. That same government is the one that they claimed it was for humiliation, but buck breaking. And it's just kind of like,
exactly,
how are y'all the same? Y'all are the same exact ones that are shunning homosexuality, but you're using buck breaking as a form of quote unquote humiliation. And just even to diving into, since it's like it's trending now, might as well bring it up, everything that's going on with the entertainment industry. And as far as like all that stuff, how it's being revealed, the amount of men in this industry that are having sex with other men, and for some of them it's a quote unquote, once again, a humiliation ritual. But when I looked up yesterday, because I went on a whole deep dive yesterday about like when was the Illuminati created and all that stuff, and apparently it was created May 1st of 1776, and I went just into like the whole astrological aspect of it. Like, you know, the moon was in Libra. Anybody that knows Libra is a fluid sign.
Yes, very much so.
But the one thing I looked at was like, okay, what were the transiting planets during this time? And I want to say it said Uranus and Gemini, and you know, Uranus ruled by Aquarius is that everything is different, everything is weird, and then you bring Gemini into the mix. Gemini is like that. Gemini is also fluid. It's also that like that curiousness and all of those different things. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I kind of feel like the Illuminati and just all of that stuff is really what set the foundation for homosexuality.
For the gay shit.
Exactly. Like,
I mean, the gay shit in a positive way, because hey, I'm with all the gay shit. Let's do it. But it's funny you say that, because think about it. I mean, I'm just getting this download like, okay, yeah, Illuminati is what? It's a secret little foundation they got going on. And back in the day, when they was doing that gay shit, they was doing that gay shit down in these little secret foundations. So it wouldn't even faze me if that is where the Illuminati came from, a bunch of men who was just sleeping around with each other, because that's what they was doing back in the day. Back in the day, gay was gay, and nobody really had a problem with that until somebody, I don't know who made the problem, but they was gay. They was gay. Them men that was wearing all them, you know, in England with the high, there was kings that were gay. There were kings that were just having children with women because they had to keep their legacy going. But these men were gay, and these were white men that were gay. You know what I'm saying? So this whole gay and trans, it is nothing new. It's nothing new. And what do they say all the time? That word, history repeats itself. So, you know, this, you know, everybody being able to be open and be open with their trans, and open with their open with who they are, and open with you know, just their gender and whoever they want to be. It's really history repeating itself, because it should never have been a problem in the first place. It's been going on for years. So yeah, the fact that you even brought up, you know, Illuminati and the year that it was in and all of that, it really does tie in and all comes together, because back then they were doing that stuff in their little mansions, in their little secret societies. They were gay.
And you know, even with that too, like I feel like my mind has been just, going down the rabbit hole, I want to say really since the pandemic, because even too, like, I always look at it like, the government is very narcissistic. So it's like, I always look, whenever they do something, I'm like, okay, forget us, put us on the back burner. In what way is this benefiting y'all? And just even with too, like with like how we were saying, like, with those men being gay, but then y'all turn around and make gay marriage illegal. So it's like, nobody would ever suspect the humiliation rituals that they're doing behind closed doors, because it's like, oh, the government made same-sex marriage illegal. Why would they be doing those type of things? But I think this is where I feel like I was really back and forth and kind of bothered by it when the government started publicly supporting, gay rights and trans and things like that. And it's like, for the longest, I could not really figure out why it bothered me until I realized they were not doing it for the people. They weren't doing it for the sake of security. They were doing it because a lot of the people in the government are pedophiles. So it's like, just even too, like, men, exactly, like men that are trans. You guys are not supporting that because you care about men that are transitioning to being women, or vice versa. You guys are doing this because the things that it is that you're partaking in behind closed doors, or just like how, like with pedophilia, they're making it so, I can't think of what law it was or what it was that I saw that was like headlining or whatever, but I'm like, you guys are making that, or just normalizing these things to take away from what you're doing, because it's like, you guys are not only performing these sexual rituals on grown men, you guys are performing these things on children. So you're trying to child, and I'm just like, y'all are making these things, you guys are normalizing them in public to get away with what it is you're doing in private. You guys don't care about gay people's rights. You don't care about trans rights. You don't care about the fact that
you know who was the poster child for this whole gay marriage and trans is okay? Not Kris Jenner. What's the damn man name? Kris Jenner's husband, whoever his name is.
Caitlyn Jenner. Cause
where the hell did you come from, you white bitch? Where did you come from? Where did you come from? Excuse my language, but my ancestors get real loud when I start speaking some true shit, because where did you come from? Ain't no way. Come on now. So yeah, that was like, Miss, come on, can you do this for us? Illuminati, we need you.
And like, even when you think about it too, that's a whole nother humiliation. Somebody was talking about it, like a whole nother humiliation ritual. All of these, like, you see it prevalent in white males, but even too, going back to the whole slavery and buck breaking and all of that stuff, the amount of black men that are finding themselves comfortable playing in makeup. Now, it's one thing if you're gay and you're putting on makeup, but you guys are doing this as a form of a humiliation ritual, to where, what were some things I saw they pointed out? They said Martin Lawrence, what's his name? Tyler. No, Lil Nas X is gay though.
No. Y'all cannot tell me that boy is gay. You cannot. First, look at the very first song he wrote. Not to say that it's either masculine or feminine, but when you look at that song and who that was in that video making that song at that time, who Lil Nas X was, versus who Lil Nas X is right now, that is straight Illuminati humiliation. That is not, and I feel that in my spirit, and I'm not gonna let nobody tell me differently about that man. I'm not. He might be gay, but he's not the gay that they made him to be today.
No,
he's not. They humiliated him completely. That's not the same man. It's not the same man. And if he is gay, he's gay, but he ain't the gay that he want to be. He the gay that they want him to be. He the gay that they make him portray that he is.
And
that's the truth. And anybody that hate me for it, I love you too. All right.
Child, no, you would know better than I do, because it's like I pay attention to stuff, but I feel like with the Illuminati, everybody pay attention to it from different angles, because that's definitely an angle that I haven't looked at it from. The way, just from the stuff that I didn't say, I process stuff as it come along, and I'd be like, wait a minute, wait, what? But yeah, tied to what was I saying? Martin Lawrence, Tyler Perry, all them, and I think too, I can't remember who else it was that they were pretty much saying, like, we're not involved in any of this stuff. I'm not dressing up like a woman, and it's just like, and seeing that, just I'm getting a whole download just talking about that too, because it's like how I said, back to them supporting trans rights and all that stuff. Like, y'all are saying humiliation, but what are y'all getting out of seeing men dressed like women is what I want to know.
Well, I can tell you what they get out of seeing a black man dressed like a woman. They feel like they're stripping that black man of his masculinity, and they're making a bitch out of him. That's what they want to see. They want to see the black man dress up as a woman and walk around and humiliate themselves. They love it.
Child, that's why whenever I see a black man that started off like, he been putting in work for 10 to 15 years, and then boom, out of nowhere, he gets a very specific role and he just blow up and start getting all these deals. I'd be like, what y'all do to that man? Or even too, like, kind of like,
what did y'all talk that man into sacrificing?
Exactly. And like, even too, and I feel like, just like how they say, like, people don't be into that whole thing where they say cloning and all of that stuff. Because just like, too, Kanye West, there was a video that I watched on YouTube some months back, and this man literally told, like, not verbatim, but pretty much said, like, they killed my mama. It's a part of the sacrifice for me being in this industry. And it's he feeling like, well, damn, at least if my mama gone, let me start being truthful about it now. And it's like, even too, between him, he don't look the same, and just and I said, that's why I have to tell myself often when I say I don't get how people don't see it, because everybody does not feel energy to the extent that it is that we do. But I'm like, Kanye West's energy just feels different entirely. There's nothing about him that feels authentic anymore. Or just even too, what's his name, Jamie Foxx, that man goes through my mind so many times a day, because I just be like, why is nobody talking about what happened to him?
And you see all these big things in the news about what happened to them, and then you see pictures of how they look, and then they get on the internet saying, "No, I'm fine." You're a robot. You're a robot.
And
it's a real Jamie Foxx.
Honestly, and I don't know why, like, because I know Jamie Foxx was also involved in those humiliation rituals and things, but I don't know, it's just something about him specifically that makes me sad. Like, you see everybody else, Britney Spears, of course, that's not the real Britney Spears anymore, and all of these other people, but I don't know, it just be something about Jamie Foxx, just knowing that man is not here as in his own physical, like, being, knowing that man is not here anymore, that really make me feel some type of way. It really does. And I can't put my finger on it.
Because that was a good man. Good man.
And see, and that's the thing, like, how can we really determine or say who isn't a good man with the stuff that it is? And it's like, too, and I know people, whoever listen to this podcast gonna feel some type of way, but even Jay-Z and Beyonce, like,
feel it. Can we talk about it?
Child, like, it's so hard. Like, it's like the battle that I have to go through with tolerating certain things. And it's like, we are spiritual beings, but we are also humans, humans having a spiritual being, having a spiritual experience, spiritual beings having a human experience, whatever. But I just be like, just alongside Diddy, Beyonce, she a Virgo. Virgos keep their business to themselves, and that's why too. Like, sis don't have that sparkle in her eye like she
But
used
hold
to
on.
anymore.
What did Beyonce say? You got to sign an NDA to party with me. That shit's sick.
See, I ain't hear that. I don't be really listening to her music. I hear her music through TikTok, but I ain't never been like, oh, let me go. Like, I can probably count on one hand, and I don't need all 5 fingers to say the amount of albums that Beyonce has. I've probably purchased in total 2 of Beyonce's albums, and it was just
I've
like,
never purchased any of her albums, but I know that I've listened to Beyonce before Beyonce was with Jay Z. Because when Beyonce got with Jay Z, Beyonce wasn't Beyonce anymore.
That's
And that's
sparkle.
just how I feel about it.
That sparkle that she had in her eyes. It's just, and you can see it, like, just how it left over time, but child,
Cause how you go from Get My Body to Drunken Love, as far as the video aspect of it and the energy that she had, the light that she had. Think about it. Get Me Body to Drunken Love was a flip. It was a 360. Beyonce was not Beyonce anymore. And then I really want to get into how brainwashed and deep into this whole Illuminati stuff Beyonce is with this new album, because my thing is, Beyonce, now you're going for anything, because you never lived in the country like that. Miss Girl, you was out in Hollywood, you was on the stages and the shows. You was not out there living that country life. So I live in the country right now. Mind you, I'm not a country girl either. I'm from New York. but but since I've been out here, like, I started kind of listening to country music, and I've heard some real black country music, and that ain't it. That's watered down. That's Kool-Aid, no sugar. That's artificial country, and I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair to the black people who really are dedicated and committed to making good country music. That ain't something that I would play at the trail ride. So it's really kind of just like appropriation, the same way that she did when she had all them videos in Africa portraying like she was Oya and Yemaya and Oshun. Ma'am, you are appropriating. You're black, but you're still appropriating something that I feel like you're not really appreciative of. It's really just like a trend for you, because when she did all that, when she did all that was at a time that this whole Ifa in this diaspora, it was really becoming this big thing. Spirituality was really becoming this big thing. Odishas was really becoming this big thing. I watched it grow with my own eyes. Mind you, like Yoruba and Ifa and stuff came to me. And it came to me because I kept seeing people with these beads on, these ikules. And every time I would see people with these beads on, I would hear all these whispers. I would hear like these whispers calling me to them, and I'd be like walking up on these people in a weird way. Mind you, it was just like hood niggas in a corner store in Atlanta, so they're really like, yo, what's going on? And I'm like, and then I kind of snapped back to it, and I'm like, what is those beads? Like, what is that? And so that's really how I got into African traditional religion, to be real with you. I'm not initiated or anything. I really am afraid to, in a way, because nowadays it's all about the money for people. So I'm really manifesting, an elder or something like that. Well, I don't gotta come out of pocket, because really, to be real with you, it's my birthright. Why would I pay
that
for
part
something that I'm supposed to know off bat? Unfortunately, we've been stripped of community from the white man, so things stopped getting passed down, and then really it was just toxicity being passed down, and that's why we got to break cycles. So if anybody hears this podcast, you got a sister out here who's really trying to get in tune with who she is on the spectrum of African traditional religion and get back to my roots. So sponsor me. But yeah, she, in my mind, in my opinion, was appropriating that, because I don't think that she was really out there living that life. Like, I don't think she was really doing that, experiencing that, or getting into that knowledge, because if you was, you wouldn't be in the Illuminati, and you wouldn't be with Jay-Z. So I really don't care who hears this. Beyonce can hear this, and I still would not give a shit, because that's real life. People need to wake up. That shit is all an illusion. Wake up. It's time to wake up. The alarm clock is going off. Hello.
See, and girl, you got me. How they be like too stunned to speak because I'm just kind of like, and see, and I done got like my own download about it because I don't know what her mama is involved in or just any child, any of that stuff. But it's like too, I don't know if it was a download or if it was a conversation that I was having with Taylor, and I was just kind of like, if she really is into all of that stuff or initiated or whatever the case is, how in the world is it that it works? Like, I don't know, I'm just like, even with Summer Walker, the initiations that it is that Summer Walker has went through, like, how are you able to balance being initiated through that stuff and still being a part of the Illuminati? I think that's the part that trips me up, that I don't understand. I'm like, I know they say even, with us, there's our shadow side and then there's our light side. And it's like, how exactly does that work in the music industry? Is the entertainment they provide the light, and them being a part of the Illuminati is the dark? Like, I don't know. Too many questions that need answers when it comes to that stuff.
Let me put you on to the real. And a lot of people ain't gonna like what I'm about to say. And I hope this podcast goes so far ashe so that people can wake up. A woman is not supposed to be initiated anyway. Do you know why a woman is not supposed to be initiated? Because the ashe comes from a woman. It is a woman who holds the ashe. It is a woman who gave the ashe to Olodumare in order to even be who Olodumare is right now. A woman is born initiated because the woman is ashe.
I'm opening the door so I can see.
That's the tea that people don't know. And what we can do is I can find this article that I read, and it explains why initially women were not initiated. It didn't have to be. So
see, now I'm like, now I want to deep dive, because so this is through, like, because I'm familiar with a lot of it and I've done research, but I'm not, like, I guess, fully aware of all the technicalities of what it is that goes on within. But how exactly does that work with, how does that work exactly with a woman, just simply because even like I've been to like white table masses and things like that. How does that work with you saying like women not having to be initiated? Because a lot of the people that I see getting initiated is women.
Are women, right? That came from, so in the article that I read, there was a woman that there was like a Babalawo who had gotten permission to initiate this woman into Ifa, and that's really how that came about. And this was many years ago, but that's really how initiating women became about. But I don't know the full story, so I'm not gonna say something that I don't know. But from the article that I read, what I do know is that a woman initially, in the beginning, a woman did not need to be initiated, because the woman, basically, in a sense, a woman was the initiation. She holds the ashe. So she did not have to be initiated because she was the ashe. She was the light. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It is the woman who gives life. How are you going to initiate me and I give life? I give you life.
So do you feel like that's any different from, like, say an example, because I've heard this terminology a lot with like those that I've spoken with, like how people will say, Oya has my head, or Oshun has my head. Is that any different from being initiated? What is the difference exactly between being initiated and being crowned, so to speak?
So that's totally different. You find out who your head is through a reading, um, through what is the term? Through Odu. And Odu is a reading basically, and there's many readings, and you can get an Odu over your head, and that's how you find out who is over your head. I got my first and only Odu over my head, and mind you, before I got that reading from that Babalawo, I was really in tune with Yemaya. I was in tune with Yemaya because she represents, or things that are connected with Oshun are the sign Cancer, the water, the moon. I'm a Cancer, June 22nd. And when I first read about her, I felt something instantly in my body connect me to Yemaya. Excuse me. Mind you, in the beginning, I first had read about Oshun because I just did like a broad research. And at that time, a lot of women were, Oshun this, Oshun that. So that's really what came up in my search. And not knowing, I just kind of started reading up on Oshun. But I had never really felt connected in that way that I felt when I learned about who Yemaya was. When I learned about Yemaya is when a spark started in my spiritual journey, and I started getting into African traditional religion. There was so much I wanted to know and so much I wanted to do, but I was always very careful. My ancestors were always whispering in my ear, you ain't gotta do all that. It's a lot of stuff that I feel like I don't have to do because I was born with it, and it's really about getting in tune and tapping into it. I'm not about to pay nobody no thousands of dollars to tell me something that my grandmother would have told me for free if she was still alive.
Child.
It's not happening. My ancestors be telling me, listen, all you gotta do is do your own research, all you gotta do is meditate, all you gotta do is get in tune, all you gotta do is this, you don't have to pay nobody no money to do that. That's why I really started my business how I want to, because I want to be able to do these things. I want to be able to host classes. You can learn about your chakras. You can learn about how to do an egg cleanse. You can learn about how to do a spell. You can learn about this or that, but I don't want to charge nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't feel like that's right. Black people be charging black people out the ass for something that they should know for free. Because if you gave it to me for free, imagine the type of community that we could create if we all shared knowledge for free. Imagine how knowledgeable imagine how aware and awake everybody would be if we could get the knowledge for free without you trying to charge me for arm and a fucking leg for something that you learned from somebody else just to get a certificate for something you ain't even need a certificate for. I would never get a certificate in herbology. It is in me. I would never pay for that. I don't need a certificate to tell somebody, hey, if you drink this and you drink this herb and that herb, you'll be healed. I don't need a book. I don't need a certificate for that.
You definitely gotta.
By the government, I might, but fuck them. I don't need that shit.
You got a point there with the herbs, and that's the same type of mindset that I have when it comes to Reiki. Because, of course, everybody has that gift, but I remember when there was this girl that I was friends with, we were doing something and she was just telling me about like spiritual gifts that I had that I was just like, I ain't never really think too much on, but she was like, when I was telling her like I was going to get certified to be in a Reiki class, she said, sis, you don't need that because it's already in you. Like, you don't need it. It's already in you, I still went just to kind of get an understanding. And what really like lit something up in me was when everybody was in a circle. They were going through the whole quote unquote attunement or whatever, and I was so ready to let go of everybody's hand because I was feeling too much energy all at once. And I'm just like, there are other people that it may be this isn't something that's necessarily in them, but it doesn't mean that they aren't destined to do it. But I'm like, for me, that this is already in me, baby, let my hands go. This is too much. And I think what really started to throw me off and piss me off, and I would talk about, I say I've toned down a lot talking about it, but when I be looking at it, it still pisses me off, is there is not only level 1 Reiki, there's level 2, I think level 3, and a master. If it's not 3, it's just straight to the master. And I remember I was talking to this one girl one day and I said, yeah, like I just did my first distant Reiki. And she said, oh, she said, are you like, she was like, are you certified level Reiki level 2? I said, huh? And she said, yeah, like Reiki level 2, you have to be Reiki level 2 to do distant. I said, baby, I did distant before I did in person. Like, and I remember too, I had been sitting on that certificate for a year, and you know, this girl I'm friends with or whatever, she pushed me. She's like, you just need to go ahead and do it. Hold the group Reiki. I'm like, but I've never done distance. So, you know, she let me quote unquote practice on her just to kind of get over my nerves or whatever. And then like I've been doing it ever since. But that really pisses me off when I be like, y'all be charging people $300, $400, and $500 to teach them distant, when really like the people that I have showed Reiki, like this one girl, she would ask like, how does she do it? Because I was like, start infusing Reiki into your products and the things you do. And I told her I would just be like, would sit, have like a whole little meditation session. I'd be like, it's a certain type of feeling that you feel in your hands. Like I'm like, when you really, really tap into it, it feels like a ball of energy. And I said, the more aware that you start becoming of yourself, you will feel that within a lot, like you will feel that within a lot of different things. So I'm just kind of like, y'all, like, I don't know. And then there's some people, you know, they teach you Reiki, but they teach you in a way to do it so that, like, say there are certain people that their only type of Reiki that they're destined to do or lay hands is like for people with chronic illness. Like there was one story I read about some old woman, there was somebody in a hospital or whatever, they had a tumor or something in their stomach, and once the black lady seen all the doctors cleared out, she closed the door. She went to check on a person's vitals, but she put her hand on their stomach as she was checking their vitals. And when they came and when they went back to run the labs, they were like, the tumor's not there anymore. So, you know, it's people that are, you know, supposed to do that type of thing, but like there's also people that do Reiki, but they do it through entity removal and having to be taught how to protect yourself. Because that's the one thing, the deeper I get in this journey, that's the one thing that I've learned, because a lot of the stuff I know, like I've had people help me along the way, but at least 75% of everything I know is self-taught, because like you said, nobody's really giving that knowledge out anymore. And it's like, I used to trip on that, but I equally understand there are some people that are supposed to do these things for free. And there's some people that, you know, they have to make a living, so they have to charge for it. Now, in terms of the price and accessibility within the price, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right. Because my thing is, if I ever feel like, it's like, I don't want to do it for a living. That's the thing. For me, it's never been like, for a living, it's crazy you say that, for a living. I have to repeat it a couple of times, right? Doing something for a living, right? I feel like you can see that two ways. You're doing it for a living, meaning you're doing it in order to gain the financial, in order for financial stability, to get financial money to live. Or you're doing it for a living because this is what you like to do and you want to do it for life. You get what I'm saying? It's so crazy. I had that download, and then I got that download when you went to talking about laying hands, because that ties all back into, you know, what I want to do for my living is African traditional healing technologies, and Reiki and laying hands would be one of them. These are ways that they were healing back then. They were not going to the doctors and getting these ultrasounds and all of that because you didn't need it, because you had somebody in the tribe who could place their hand on you or over you and feel the heat coming from the area that you're having trouble with. They didn't need that. So, yeah, the fact that you know it's in you, like, you don't need to pay for them classes. You got it. It's all good. And that all ties back to the question you asked me, like, you know, initiation and would I pay for it and all that? And no, I would not. I would hope that the universe will put me in tune with somebody who is willing to guide me. You know, because I do feel like I want to become a priestess, but I don't want to, again, go through having to pay for this initiation and all that stuff. But if it was by the right person who was not trying to charge me at all, I would get initiated and I would become a priestess and I would practice African traditional religion and I would shave my head. Yes, I would. And and I would go away from social media for a month or however long they make these people do those things. And that's why I believe, when you were talking about homegirl, Summer Walker, ain't no way you got initiated and you were just back out there like that again, because in reality, I think most initiations you have to, withdraw for a couple months and pray and all these other types of things. And I wouldn't even publicize my initiation. You wouldn't even know that I was initiated, other than the fact that my head was probably shaved. But by the time that I come out of, my solitude, my hair gonna be growing, but you ain't gonna know nothing because that ain't none of your business to know that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like people just be really playing around. But yeah, no, I'm not paying for no initiation. I paid for a tarot reading probably one time, which was from someone that I trusted, and someone that I really somebody that was getting into their tarot and they wanted to practice, and I wanted to give a donation. So it really wasn't even paid for. It was my donation for the reading. I don't need to do a tarot reading. I can do a tarot reading on myself for free. I'm not paying for nothing that I feel like it should be free as a Black woman. Yeah, it's our birthright, and we shouldn't have to. Girl, you better start putting on your tag Reiki certified, because you are certified by the ancestor spirits. Okay, Ashe. They certified you. Nobody had to certify you.
That part.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I am a herbalist. I am a root doctor. Okay, I am your local neighborhood hood healer, and you can give me a call if you need me. Listen, my family be calling me like, "Oh, what can I use to?" Well, when we were all getting along, but what can I use to get rid of this, or what can I do to do this? My niece, she be saying, my sister calling me, she's like, "Oh, what can I do to get rid of this cold?" And yeah, because I got the tea, literally. I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. It's in me. It's just natural, and it's in you. All that, all that stuff, your Reiki, it's in you. Nobody about to certify you. And it's crazy because the universe is going to start getting rid of all of these false priestesses and these people, these fake healers. The universe they're naturally gonna get wiped out, okay? Because all of this that we're doing right now, this healing, this conversation, this building that we're doing, this, practicing our gifts, really just tuning up our gifts is going to pay off. A lot of times we might think to ourselves, is it gonna pay off? And it is gonna pay off. It's going to pay off because our people, our communities, our tribes are going to need us when it really comes, down to it. When shit start hitting the fan, it's we're going to be the pillars of our communities.
That is so true. That was a conversation that me and Taylor had recently. That she asked me that shit threw me for a loop. She was like, like on some like serious, but not serious, but like apocalyptic type stuff. She said, if it ever boiled down to it and X, Y, and Z happened, what role do you feel you would play in the community? I said, damn. Let me get back to you in 3 to 5 business days, because I ain't never thought about it that deep.
Okay.
But it's...
Yeah. That's why I said we have to, I really want to build a tribe. I be praying that I can find sisters, brothers, men who can act right, because you can't come in my tribe if you think you're gonna come over here and try to run shit. Because sit down, bitch. That's not happening. But really just connecting with doctors, nurses, teachers, builders, gardeners, healers, herbalists, root workers, the people who pray. You know what I'm saying? Frontline, the warriors. We need to connect ourselves with all types of people, because when shit hits the fan, these are the kind of You're gonna want to make sure that your tribe, that you have all these people that can build, people that can cook. You know what I'm saying? Um, the teenagers that can help take care of the children. Excuse me. All that stuff is important, and this is why you want to build a community immediately.
Girl, heavy on immediately because I know I was thinking about this, and this is like my first time ever talking about it publicly. But there was an instance because I'm very in tune with my ancestors and things like that. There was an instance where I had some peanut M&Ms on my altar for my brother because that's one of the things that he loves. Now my son is very, very aware. Like, he's never tried to touch peanuts. Like, if it's peanut butter in the cabinet, he knows not to touch it. He knows not to go near it. This one particular day, and let me preface this with this, I was trying to find a tea blend to help with my son's allergies and to help like cleanse his blood because I didn't have a lot of money to be giving away, so I needed something I can make on my own.
Right.
And I couldn't get him to drink the tea for nothing. He would take a sip and that tea would sit there for days. He wouldn't touch it. So, one day I'm in the bathroom doing something. My mom would go out to check on him and she said, "Ashley, what's this in his hand?" I hurry up, dart out the bathroom. He done got the peanut M&Ms off the altar and he's sitting there with his legs crossed, just going to town. And I'm like, bro, like freaking out, but trying to stay calm. And it was just kind of like, with the ancestors, a lot of the knowledge that some of the ancestors learned was being in that fight or flight mode of having to think quick. And I was standing there and I'm just like, bro, what am I supposed to do? What I'm supposed to do? And I kid you not, in that moment, all I heard was, mind you, these were herbs that I had, but I ordered them because my ancestors told me to, not because I had researched them or worked with them. And they were like, you need to get him some stinging nettle. You need to get him some mint and go in the bathroom and get the activated charcoal. So first thing I did was gave him, and I was like, do you want the itching on your face to stop? And he just started shaking his head. Yeah, I said, well, you have to eat this. Put the activated charcoal and some applesauce and gave it to him. And then I'm like, hearing these herbs they telling me to mix up and freaking out but trying to stay cool at the same time. And I'm like, why this particular group? So I'm like, you know what, the activated charcoal's in the system, let me hurry up and go look and see what these herbs do. And girl, when I looked and I seen what they were for, it was in that moment that I knew, I'm like, if it ever comes push to shove, I know that my ancestors are going to come through, or whatever ancient knowledge that I carry within myself is going to come through and help aid a situation. And it was that day he finally started drinking tea.
Yeah.
And I told my brother, I said, bro, you really had to, like, I just kept stuttering. I'm like, you really just, you really had to do that. Like, you really had to have him go to the altar and eat them. And he said, I was sitting right there by him the entire time. I knew wasn't nothing getting ready to happen to him. I'm like, but did you really have to go through that extreme to get him to start drinking teas? And all he kept saying was yes, yes, because he would, the journey of where you are taking him, he would not have been able to start that if it did not get kickstarted that way. And literally ever since then, it be some days he'll ask for tea. If he don't care for the taste, he'll be like, Mommy, can you put some lemon balm in here? I'll be like, oh, excuse me.
Okay. That lemon balm goes slap. Okay. And that was also, I feel like that was also your ancestors' way of saying, of really tapping you into not only your communication with them, but also your connection with herbs. Because that's really the start of your connection, to be real. Like, definitely. Ooh, excuse me, I'm over here eating, burping. Make sure you, keep them herbs on deck, especially if he has, those type of allergies. Definitely keep some burdock and also keep some golden seal. Yeah, you gotta get the herbs, girl.
Yeah, burdock and golden seal. Those the only two that I don't have in my cabinet. So literally the only two.
Were you ever able to find a Asian market close to you, or Mexican? I know the Asian markets are probably the. Where do you live? Let me see.
Arizona.
Okay, so what part of Arizona?
East Phoenix.
Okay, so we'll put East.
Yeah, but no, I found one. Remember that day when we were talking about it? It was just like it didn't cross my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have a Asian market, probably like about 20 30 minutes away from me, and so, and then the Mexican market, I don't know how far that is, but yeah, both of them. And that's why too, why I was so tripped out that day. Like, that's why I be saying too, sometimes texting don't be enough for me, because the reaction that I was texting you when I was like, oh my goodness, like you found these like at this place and that place,
Mm-hmm.
is because I, in the past, I have purposely went to the Mexican market for herbs. And like when you were showing me the sour sop leaf and all that stuff, I'm like, we don't have that here.
Girl, when I was in the store, I'm like in there with my girlfriend, and I look and I'm like, hey, babe. She like, can you give me a moment? I'm like, babe, look what they got. Look what they got. They got soursop. They got mango leaves. Mind you, I'm in the cabinet the other day. The other day I'm trying to make mango tea, which didn't really turn out that great to me because it didn't taste as much as like mango as I wanted it to. But I think it's really because I made it in bulk, and I really needed to make it more separate to get that mango flavor. But I was gonna add those mango leaves in there. I thought I forgot them. No, they was in the cabinet. But I was hyping the grocery store for real, because though I had gotten my herbs from there before, they had things I had not seen. Girl, they had some frankincense resin, and I sure enough went and bought me some charcoal, because I just really missed the smell. And I got it off of food stamps, EBT. So that was super fucking cool. But yeah, herbs on top of the crow's foot, the cow's foot, the nettle, the lemon balm that I got, hibiscus. I always get my hibiscus from the Mexican grocery store anyway. The cinnamon, everything off EBT at the Mexican grocery store. In the Asian grocery store as well. I got some lion's mane mushrooms, some burdock root that I cut down myself, dried out myself, and now I got dried burdock. And I also did, I'd be juicing too. So with the juices, the pulp, I just dried me out a bunch of lemon pulp, and I tasted it, and it's just as lemony, like real lemony, really good for tea. When I made the tea earlier, that's what I put in there. Also, some dried lemon, some hibiscus, I had rosemary in there, had ginger, and a little bit of burdock root, again, just to, kind of cleanse myself. But bless you.
And I wanted to ask you about that too, just with lemons, because I don't know if you had saw the status that it was that I wrote. I did like
on that. That was me.
That unexpected. Yeah, that's how we led to having that whole conversation. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm the type of person, I love anything. Now that I'm older, I love anything anatomy and physiology and science, but it's like, I really want to just like have them do a visual of what is the difference between lemon and lime in the body, because I made a whole batch of guacamole again the other day, and that batch still not has turned brown from when I squeezed the lime juice on it. But when I put the lemon, it's brown literally by late that evening.
And you know what? Part of that is, number one, some of these lemons that we're getting are grown probably with a bunch of pesticides and things like that. But the lemons, there definitely is a possibly a nutrient difference, or like acidity, like the level, the pH level or the acidic level is probably one of the biggest differences, because when I drink a cup of water and lemon, I don't feel the same as when I drink a cup of water and lime. When I drink that water and lime first thing in the rising, number one, it's clearing me out. It's helping with that rising shit. You know what I'm saying? Gotta take a poop in the rising, clear all that stuff out. It's giving me energy. And my biggest thing is I would always steer more towards key limes, which are a bit harder to find than regular limes. I always get mine from the Mexican grocery store, and they're not big, like how sometimes they make limes a little big, almost like lemons. They're a good size, And they always seem pretty good and healthy. I don't ever get any bad energy or anything, but definitely steer more towards the limes. I keep limes in my house all the time. I need a lime. Okay, I'm gonna put it in my tea. I'm gonna put it in my water. I drink spring water, but I don't just drink spring water. Like if I'm drinking water, I'm more than likely adding lime to it because it just gives you that energy. It always just, even after you eat, drinking some lime water just to be able to get everything flowing through easily and all of that. I think lime water is definitely more of a go-to than that lemon. So that download you got, you just, your body and your ancestors and your spirits is really just putting you on for real because they were head on when they gave you that download for real.
Honestly, because I was standing there looking, I'm like, wait a minute, but with juicing, because I don't know if you saw the other post I put about that coconut and lemon refresher. What is, as somebody that juices and someone that works with teas and stuff, what is your opinion on people, like how they say, like even with going to the gym, how they say, oh, you're supposed to drink half your body weight? Because I'm gonna be real, this may be TMI, but this is just the straight facts. With me doing Ramadan, I have tried to opt more. Of course, coconut water is a little bit more expensive when you're buying it in bulk, but I've tried to opt more for either buying spring water and putting fruit in it or drinking coconut water. But something I realized, the times that I break my fast and I drink spring water, just, by itself, no fruit, nothing. When I go to use the bathroom in the morning, my pee is so yellow. Versus when I drink coconut water, with fruit or whatever, just even by itself, or when I drink spring water with fruit and I wake up and I go pee in the morning, and there's like, it's a normal amount that it's supposed to be, but it's not like dark yellow.
Right. So I'm gonna give you an answer right now. So first, I'm gonna start off by saying, if you're gonna drink water, drink spring water. That's number one. Try to drink it out of a glass, prefer versus drinking it out of plastic. If you can go get your own spring water, please go and get it. Now, I'm gonna answer that. The reason why there is a difference is because the H2O that your body needs is, your body doesn't need H2O. Your body needs something that is called H3O, which is the water that comes from fruit.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's really what the body, your body needs water from fruit. Melons, cucumbers, oranges, fruits that are high in water content, fruits and vegetables. So let me put it like that. That's why a lot of people will juice, because when you're juicing, you're getting out the nutrients and you're taking out the water. But eating your fruit is also, it's really better than juicing, because you're really getting everything, especially from the contact. All the way, the science goes all the way down from the contact of your teeth to the contact of the fruit when you're chewing and getting all of those vitamins and things like that. But what your body does not need H2O. Your body needs H3O. H3O contains H2O. You see what I'm saying? So you're getting that H2O, but you're getting the full content, which boosters you up to the H3O. When you drink more of your water from fruit, such as coconuts, grapes, mangoes, you're really giving your body the nutrients that it needs. And that's why you see that difference when you drink that coconut water versus when you drink that spring water. Now, if you can get coconut water versus spring water, by all means, drink that coconut water. But please, y'all, stay away from the coconut waters in these stores that contain sugar. Your coconut water should not contain no sugar. Them things say 1% less sugar. No, bitch, you need no sugar. zero sugar. I don't want no. I better not pick up that coconut bottle and it says sugar. No, you want zero sugar in your coconut water. That's how you know it's organic and it's 100% coconut water. Period. I don't even want that shit in the bottle. You better cut my coconut open and put a straw in that hole and I'ma drink it.
Girl, I tried to. Sorry, child, that's
It's
not a
okay.
habit. I
It's
was
okay.
like,
I feel you.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, but coconuts be hard to get into. I
Because
remember
you can go
when,
and get one and the thing be bad. And like, ew.
yeah, and I know, like, just even for me, I was going through like a whole freak out spiral moment where they wasn't selling my son's coconut milk in the store anymore, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go back to making it because I noticed when I made it, he was like really regular anyway. But they didn't even have the coconut flakes. Man, I tried to try my hand at buying. I had bought 3 coconuts from the Asian market, and I probably spent a good 3 hours alone trying to get them cracked open, then taking the meat out, then blending them. I said, oh no, this is a lot.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I think too, just for me, like that really, I don't know, it instilled even more so, it put me in a space of gratitude because when our ancestors wanted coconut milk, they couldn't just go to the stores and get it. They had to
Mm.
crack them open, like get like their what is that called, that the Hispanics use when they mortar and pestle,
Okay. Yeah.
get those like giant ones and like smash it up and stuff, because
Yeah. And see, that's why I feel like I need a machete in my house or wherever I go, especially when I go across seas. Because when I get that coconut, I'm going. You're gonna see me slicing and dicing because I'm gonna get that water up out of there. And you went to milk, and I wanted to touch on that too, real quick. As far as people who are practicing veganism and eating clean, we've been making our own almond milk lately. We have not bought almond milk from the store. This EBT go round, we've got nuts and almond milk. Like, if I could give the best advice, I could stay away from the almond milk from the stores as well, and the coconut milks that are not kosher. Um, Really trying to stay away from a lot of this stuff. We're not the healthiest. We do eat chicken and stuff here and there, but as far as health, we're doing a lot better and hope to get better. But this is a start, making your own milks. When I tell you it is the best coconut milk I've ever had in my life, the best. I mean, it tastes fresh, it's sweet. We use natural sweeteners, so it's amazing. I had me a bowl of cereal and it was great. Like, I think that's another thing, just as far as when we're tribing up, people can do things like that. Like we need to be able to make everything right here from the comfort of our homes, things like that. And it's just important. It's important to start at home as far as your health, your eating, make it organic, stay away from these pharmaceuticals, and stay away from these grocery stores as much as you can. Choose the healthiest option for you. For real, for real. Like,
no, you definitely got a point on that one. I know recently, because I can't even say I'm vegan anymore, because my ancestors, man, they saw how my energy was being so tanked. They said, girl, please eat some fish. And I was just like, but I don't want to. Like, I'm vegan. They're like, do you want energy or not? Because like me, I'm the type of person where, I mean, we in a heavy supplement culture right now. Like, everybody is in there. I'm taking this supplement, that supplement era, and it's like I'm equally supportive of people. I'm equally supportive of it, but I'm also just kind of like, there's some things I would rather get from source. And after me being vegan for so long, when I finally was like, you know what, I'm gonna be pescatarian. The first time I ate fish, I kid you not, and I have to wear glasses even though I haven't worn them in like 5 or 6 months just so I can start healing my vision. But the first time ever that I started eating fish again, I went to take my glasses off and I noticed that my vision had adjusted a little bit. and it was something I want to say I noticed, like there was even like maybe some clarity just within my brain and stuff like that. And it really brought me to just even like that whole concept of how they say like eat for your blood type of deal, because
eat for your body, because your body will definitely let you know what's up. And that really kind of just gave me a download. Like, I'm pretty sure for one, they know, they gave our ancestors scraps and this and that. But let's think about further back, before we got into this slavery, before we were fed straight pigs and things like that. They still had chickens, they still had cows, they still had all of these things, and they probably more than likely ate these things, but it was not an overindulgence like it is now. We've grown to indulge in these things excessively, which is the reason why we are having dis-ease in the body and things like that. And they also were not eating pigs. They weren't eating pigs. They weren't eating unclean foods. You know what I'm saying? I saw a list of unclean foods, and chickens wasn't on there. Cows wasn't on there. But shrimp, seafood, crawfish, all that stuff was on there, because when you really think about it, those are unclean foods. They're down there in the ocean. It's the ocean. The ocean is vast. Can you imagine the amount of things that are down there in the ocean? I personally, I wouldn't want to eat it either. But I know things like chickens and cows were not on the list of unclean foods, because those probably were not unclean foods. Things like pigs and all that. Now, when you're overindulging and eating certain parts of these cows and these chickens, yes, again, that's how we begin to get dis-ease in the body. Milk, we were not drinking milk. We weren't. I don't think we were. I think we were getting it, again, milk from certain fruits, because there's probably other fruits that you can get milk from other than a coconut. You see what I'm saying? So we were probably getting these, milky type products from fruits and things like that. But we certainly weren't drinking the cow's milk. I don't think that we were. That's my personal opinion, because the way that cow's milk is for its child. Your milk is the milk that you're supposed to get from your mother, and at a certain age, truly and honestly, you shouldn't be drinking that anyway, because you don't need milk in order to stay hydrated. What you need is H3O. So you shouldn't be drinking milk like that anyway.
And even too, that's why a lot of people are dealing with bone loss and old age and osteoporosis, because what made me have this down low is, I used to like heavy be into doing hair, wanted to go to cosmetology school and everything for it, because how invested I was in it. But the one thing that I learned with doing a lot of heat styles is your hair needs protein. Those bonds that are broken, they have to be filled back with protein, keratin, and all that stuff. But the one thing I always paid attention to was when you're doing a protein treatment, you have to follow up with moisture. If not, your hair will break and it will crumble and it will fall out. And then that got me thinking, if you need something to balance out a protein treatment, you need a moisture mask with a protein treatment for your hair. Why are we in this state of overconsumption with protein as a society, but they're not equally saying, oh, you need to make sure you're eating just as much fruit to compensate for the amount of protein that your body is intaking? And now people are like, oh my goodness, I've ate healthy my whole life and I have osteoporosis, I have arthritis. You have all of these diseases and stuff in your body that are specifically attacking your bones because they told you to eat all this protein, but they didn't tell you to make sure you drink more water. They didn't tell you to eat fruits and vegetables and stuff that have high water content. Now you in your prime ages, you a good 5'6". You get old and you 5'2". How?
Because you done shriveled up and dried up. You ain't got no daggone moisture. Just shriveled up. Oh, that is funny to me. That's like funny to me.
That gets me every time when I be talking to people. I have to really try my hardest. I don't know if you're like, did you say you into human design?
Human design as far as the body?
Oh no, like it's I'm trying to think of a way to describe it, like what it is exactly. So human design is kind of like a natal chart, but it's
Oh
designed
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they got projectors, manifesting generators,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
generators.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I found out like I'm a projector, and it's like that would be my thing that I would have to. I've recently learned, like I'm just like, damn, why have I felt like a reject my whole life? And it was because what my friend told me. She was like, you're a projector. She said you have to be invited in. She said there are some people that can give people advice, and it's what they've been looking for their entire life, and they're receptive to it. But you should, like, if you try to go out your way to tell somebody something that they did not ask for or that God did not command you to speak on, they're
Mhm.
going to reject it and they're not going to hear it. Because whenever I see people dealing with stuff, or like even people that deal with bone loss, I want to tell them all this different stuff so bad. And I'm just like, it's going to be a waste of my energy if I try to
Yep.
tell you, because you're
Cause they
not
ain't gonna
going to
listen.
be receptive to it.
Now I know I remember doing that test, and I can't remember which one I am, but based off of what you're saying, I believe that I'm I don't know which one I am, but I can resonate with what you're feeling because there are times where I want to tell a person like, "Hey," but at the same time I'm like, "Yep, none of my business," because they're probably gonna listen to shit I gotta say anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I know I resonate with that very much so, very
I
much
just,
so.
I really wish, overall, and I got to tell myself this often because I've peeped game with the government since I was like 19, 20 years old, and I'm 29 now. And it's just, I have to tell myself sometimes, like, I really do wish more people were in tune with what it is that's going on, or just even as far as like their bodies go, because like you like it just like when people really sit and think about it, it sounds like programming, because the first thing you go on a diet or you go vegan or you go anything that involves you not eating meat, the first thing everybody asks is, what about your protein? And I'm just like, y'all do know there's vitamin A, there's vitamin
There's yeah,
B6, there's the vitamins we need for our brain health, our heart health, and
but
protein.
keep this in mind though. While you're dipping into vitamins, I'm not telling you to go to the store and buy anybody's pre-made vitamins. You can get all of these vitamins from fruit, vegetables, herbs, and all of that. You do not need to go there and get some pre-made rock stone ass shit that's gonna make your shit hard as hell and have you all types of constipated. You need to get your vitamins from your foods. You need to get your vitamins from your herbs, from your roots, from your plants, sea moss, everything. You can get all of that. You don't have to go to the store and buy it because that stuff's not good for you either. Oh, they tell you to take it, and then now that you know you got to take it, you go to the store and buy it just to give your money to the government for some fake ass shit. Please don't do it. Listen to sis. She say you need your vitamins, but don't go to the store and buy them because that's not what we need. Like, please don't go. Don't buy
Mm-hmm.
yourself from there. It's not. It's not. Mm-mm.
Sure. No, I've tried my best to like really get out of the habit of getting vitamins and stuff from the store, like even just with certain things that it is that I want to do. Like an example, and once again, this is another thing I haven't talked about publicly, but Spirit is like, girl, you got to put it out there. Somebody gonna need to hear it. So, long story short, I was on ADHD meds because I'm just like, I cannot, like at that time I was not heavy into, I use teas more so for like yoni steaming and stuff like that, and like when it is that I need them, but I wasn't heavy into drinking them. So I was like, I need these meds to be able to function, to get stuff done and all that stuff. And shortly after, I noticed my memory started being impacted. Mind you, I was only on these meds for like about a week and some days. And I started peeping when I would have conversations with people. I would be talking, and I could be sitting up to, we could be talking about traveling, and I'm like, what's that word? What's that word? Airplane. And I'm like, bro, why am I forgetting basic words like
Words,
airplane?
yeah.
How do you forget the word airplane? And when I started doing research, people were like, yeah, like it caused me to start having hallucinations. People were saying it was affecting their memory. They were like, hey, I'm not they were like, my memory is gone, my memory is shot, but hey, I'm not suicidal anymore, I'm not depressed. And I'm like, oh no, babe. I'm like,
So let me let me go ahead. Let me let you finish.
I'm just like, I can't do it. So what I had to start doing was, of course, being more consistent with drinking my teas. But the main thing that it is that helped me, and I know everybody not going to agree or want to go this route, I had to start not even just so much working with my ancestors, because had already been working with them. I had to specifically start working with Santa Muerte specifically, because the rate at which my mental health was declining, and it was affecting I wouldn't say it was affecting my business. I was still able to keep it in check enough to run my business, but it was just it was getting to a point I'm like, I can't rely on these pills. And I kid you not, of course I still have my moments here and there, because it's the whole saying, faith without works is dead. Yes, I'm working with this deity, but I still have to drink my teas and make those lifestyle changes. But I kid you not, ever since I've started working with her, my mental health has been a lot better. I can say I've had more happy days than being depressed. I'm not in these weird random slumps and all my emotions. I could sit up and talk all day about all the things that it is that I've noticed, but that was just to add into what you said too. I know everybody doesn't have that option, so meds is their only way, but also too on some because my ancestors wouldn't let me continue taking them. This is what worked for me specifically.
And for one, let me say I'm so happy for you, because I know what it's like, to be in that state. And I'm just grateful that you're able to come up out of that, and that you found someone to work with you and guide you through that. So congratulations, for real. And I hope that it just gets better. And you were talking about, before you were talking about, medicine and all that. So I wanted to tap back into previously when you asked me about the trauma and medicine and the teas and how helpful they can be. I think, when I answered your question on what has really helped me in my trauma, it was definitely the teas, because I stopped taking medicine a long time ago, just because I felt, like you said, the difference in myself. I remember one time they tried to put me on something new, and I completely hallucinated that night. I was on for one day, and I hallucinated like crazy that night. And I told them never again. I called my mom. I told my mom what happened. My mama called that lady and said, "You better not put my daughter back on that stuff." And they didn't. But I will say that throughout my journey with herbs have been a very big help in my days, especially the plant medicines such as hapé and mushrooms and things like that. People look at this stuff like, oh, one time I told my little brother, who now has done mushrooms, who now grows them, that I was doing mushrooms. Remember I told you about my teeth? He's like, oh, that's why you ain't got no teeth now, because you're doing drugs. Mushrooms is not a drug, sweetie. Okay? They're very healing, and I've microdosed before, and when I tell you, I've literally grinded them up, put them into capsules. There were some little vegan capsules, and I put them in there, and I was taking, one during the day. If I felt like I had heavy energy, I would take one in the rising, one midday, and I would take one in the evening. And at some point, it really cut down to just me having to take one in the rising, and I was good to go. I just felt like a whole new person. I was much calmer. I was able to, because as a parent who deals with, mental health issues, mental health never goes away when you become a parent. If anything, it becomes more prominent, much stronger. And right, you know what I'm saying? Because now you're having to deal with a child plus your mental health that no one ever taught you how to deal with or how to heal. But now you're also still trying to be the best parent that you could fucking be while dealing with your mental health. So you think you're a crazy bitch, and You don't know why. You have these
Girl,
kids, and you're
child.
trying not to let them see the crazy bits of you side of you. So it's a lot. But that medicine, those plant medicines, those herbs, just like lavender and different types of teas, ashwagandha. Am I saying that right? Okay, ayahuasca and ashwagandha. So ayahuasca is a plant or maybe a frog, some type of poison. That's something totally different. But ashwagandha is a root or a plant, I believe, which helps so much with the things that you said, like ADHD and things like that. I bought some. I'm not really into the gummies like that, but I did find some vegan ashwagandha gummies once that I was giving to my daughter, and when I tell you, complete difference, complete difference. I know that my daughter has autism, but I will never put her on meds. She is in some programs now, to get a little bit of help, and we really are trying to get, a diagnosis just to see if this is the problem. I'm not labeling my child or anything. I want her to get the help that I didn't get growing up as a child with mental health, issues. But I would never in my life put my child on any Western pharmaceutical. I'll make the medicine myself before I put it on anything. I promise you.
I
But
said that same
ashwagandha was
exact
one of
thing.
those. Mm-hmm.
Um, I said that same exact thing about my son, cause I'm just like, that was the issue that he had being in school. People like the teachers were just like, you got to do this and you got to do that, and I'm like, it sounds like what y'all are telling me is to like lean into putting him on meds, and I'm just like, I'm not doing it. And I feel like too, like the biggest that's always the biggest issue, like with children, because I know I told you my son has autism and ADHD, maybe both, I don't know. I've been trying to get a diagnosis for like 3 something years, but that's the biggest issue that it is that a lot of these kids deal with in school is they're trying to give these children all of these different tools. Oh, let's give them a fidget. Oh, let's put them on this little mat seat that has spikes on it to give them stimulation. Oh, let's do this and do that. And it's like, at the end of the day, nobody is getting to the root issue of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's getting to the root issue. Nobody's getting to the root issue of anything. And it's like, if it's not a band-aid by medicine, it's a band-aid by all these different tools. And don't get me wrong, I have these little noise canceling headphones that I use every now and again, but it's also just like, it's not enough. It's not enough at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I really look forward to the moment where we have the tools that our children need, to be so honest with you. And it takes some figuring out, to be real. And it's difficult, but I'm down to figure it out. And I also feel like a lot of people need to know that these special needs children that they call them special needs, something that I'm a strong believer in, and I don't know if this was a download or maybe something somebody just put me onto, but these children are really children that are so in tune that it's overwhelming for them, and they don't know how to handle that. My daughter is so in tune with things that I wouldn't think that she's in tune with, and it just makes me really believe that she's so close to like the spiritual world and so in tune with just her surroundings that it's overwhelming. A child doesn't know how to deal with all of that. A child doesn't know how to express that or anything like that. So that's why I feel like we need to really be gentle, with these young ones that we know are spiritually or gifted, because it really is connected to them being spiritually gifted. Because watch when they grow up. they're gonna be some spiritually gifted children, and we're gonna be like, wow. So that's why you had such a hard time as a child because you were so in tune that you didn't really know how to, how to express that, or anything like that. So.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that too. Because I always had this conversation with my friend, like, some things, it's been like a agree to disagree on, but just also having that understanding too. And I think sometimes what makes it hard is, like you said, a lot of these children that do have quote unquote special needs, they are spiritually gifted. But I know, like, just even for me, like within the Black community, there's a lot of times that the community does not take these things serious. Because I remember, like, I always had that hint. Like, I always had that hint that there was something different about my son than it was from other children. I just could never, like, really put my finger. And I'd ask people, like, I remember asking his dad, asking my mom, asking friends, like, do you guys think he has autism? Do you guys think, like, he has ADHD? They're like, no, there's nothing wrong with him. And, granted, while there isn't anything wrong, there is no denying the things that it is that are a part of our reality, whether it be them being overwhelmed, whether it be the tantrums, or just like something a lot of autistic children deal with, where they are putting objects that are not food in their mouths, or just like another thing that a lot of like parents with children with autism, I'm not sure if you've ever dealt with this personally, but the children just going out of the front door, you step out of the room for a second and you come back in the living room and the front door is open and your kid is nowhere to be found. And I feel like too, it's just, for those that it is applicable to, those children that are special needs, or however it is, that you want to label it, like taking their needs into consideration. But there are also kids that do have special needs that are, a lot of their symptoms and things are driven by their spiritual gifts and how heavily that it is that they're tapped in.
Right. And that's why it's important for us to get tapped in, because they're gonna need someone to teach them. Because if anyone had taught us in the future to be tapped in spiritually, and connect more with our ancestors, had our mothers been taught this and our mothers' been taught this, then we would have been taught this. And at this, at this age, we wouldn't be dealing with a lot of the stuff that we were dealing with. That's why I'm really keen and, dedicated and determined to elevate to my highest consciousness so that I can teach my children how to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So that at the age of 29 years old, however age I was when I was dealing with certain things, that they don't have to experience that. You know what I'm saying?
Heavy on don't have to experience it, because it's like, there may be some things that it's just a universal experience. Like, everybody goes through puberty, everybody goes through, all of the different physical changes, but it's some stuff that I feel like, especially within our community, is so ingrained. Like, some of the things, the traumatic things, or whatever the case is, almost like it's a birthright. Like, oh, I had to struggle, so you have to struggle too. And I think, and I say this all the time, I feel like a lot of the times why our parents do not want to adapt to what is true is because a lot of their parents are no longer here to vouch for that. So it's almost like their inner child telling them, no, they're lying. Mommy and daddy said this. That can't be true. Mm-hmm. No, my mommy and daddy told me this. And it's like, you got your grown child or your teenager, or even in some people's cases, you have your toddler or whatever telling you this is not how you do something, or your kid telling you, oh, you owe me an apology, but you yourself as a parent never got an apology. So it's like, oh no, I'm not supposed to do that because my parents didn't do it. And I feel like too, that's what truthfully stops a lot of these elders from really healing, is because they can't fathom the fact that there's a possibility that their parents were not right. especially
Right.
if their parents are not here to vouch for that, or there's nobody, or I guess an adult here, adult as people say, to confirm, like, oh yeah, this was true. A lot of people don't want to, they don't want to break that illusion that they have in their mind.
And that's the people that get me, girl. Those are the people that get me because it's really like even if you have that in your mind and not just the elders but people who are stuck in their ways, if somebody brings to you another perspective and you just disregard, you don't want to change. And those are the kind of people that I can't help. I can't help it.
Mhm.
Can't help it. So I do know before we come to an end, I did pull some cards for us. So I have a deck. It's called the Herbal Astrology Oracle.
Oh, you got to
So
send me the link for that because I've been wanting to start getting
I
into
don't even know
herbal
if I have the
decks.
link. I'll send you a picture. I don't think I have a link. Um, but these cards were pulled from the ether. I did ask the universe, kind of just for a guided message based on the conversations that we've been having today. And so I do want to start off with I got the Angel's Trumpet, which is essentially the death card. And really, what I got from this is when we all think of the death card in the tarot, we think death, transformation, um, shedding of the old and bringing it to the new. And that's exactly what I got a lot from this conversation. This is what we're trying to bring to the community. We're trying to shed the old, stop being stuck in our ways and come, and build up the new and transform and elevate from who we were to who we know that we could be. We could be better as a community, as a tribe, as a people, as an individual. Because if you're not better as an individual and you don't shed your own self and really try to transform into something new, then you can't do anything for the community. Really, they say that the Angel's Trumpet has like an intoxicating scent. It is the plants in Brugmansia. That is I guess, the botanical name for the plant. This plant is like home of South American indigenous groups like Kamsa, Javaro, and Ngano. They use these herbs, for young children to initiate them into the path. When you think about shedding the old, you think about this is a new initiation to another path of life. So you can think of it like that as well. Um, the trumpet is a master plant. It brews kind of like ayahuasca, so it can be a very healing plant. But yeah, this plant really is a signal that as a community, we all have a lot of transformation that we're about to go through. And whether you like it or not, the transformation is going to come. If you're preparing yourself now, this transformation will be easier. You'll probably feel it coming because you'll be so in tune that you're like, okay, something's changing. I can feel it. And just prepare yourself and know that with change, sometimes comes sadness, sometimes comes letting go of people that you love. So be mindful of that. I am getting that. Like a lot of people are having to let go and kind of sever ties with their family members, and that's going to be okay. I've had to do it recently, and I'm getting that some people may have to do that as well. And know that is going to hurt, but it's going to heal. And I think that's the part that we really need to focus on. Stop focusing on the hurt that you have to feel when you let these people go, because now you really got to think back to how healthy are these people for you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to shed the old, be it a person, a habit, or just you as a person, whatever you need to shed. So let those people go. Let those habits go. Let those old ways of thinking go, so that you can become, your highest self. There's a bat on this card, and this bat does represent, basically, it symbolizes the need for a ritualistic death. of relations or situations or aspects of life. So get in tune with your rituals, cleansing rituals, because when you cleanse, you're essentially renewing. You're reinitiating your spirit and your energy. Maybe tap into an egg cleanse, an herbal bath, or something like that. Some crystals for cleansing as well. And then we have the cat's claw for purification. That came up a lot in our conversation today as far as the herbs. And I think that's really good, again, for the community, because in order to start new, what do you have to do? You have to purify to get rid of the old. So that ain't nothing but confirmation right there. Purify and get rid of the old. Rewrite your story. Connect to your heritage. Purify yourself so that you're clean enough to receive the message or receive the connection that you have to have with your ancestors. DNA purification. So all this, negative stuff that we're eating, it fucks up your DNA. So you gotta purify that DNA in order to connect with your true DNA of who you really are. You see what I'm saying? So again, let's get in tune with the burdock root. Let's get in tune with the herbs that can purify your body. Something is saying detox, which I've been feeling for my own self as well. We have to stop poisoning our bodies, because when you detox, again, you're messing up your DNA. You're clouding up your first eye. Let's get in tune with that. That's not your third eye. That's your first eye. Your other two is the second and the third. So purify so that first eye can open up and see clearly. The more that you can see clearly with that first eye, the more knowledge that you can gain from your ancestors and from spirit and whoever it is that's guiding you. So that's definitely what I'm getting from that. They have a Black Panther on here that roams through the darkness with courage and curiosity to assist us in accessing the hidden light of the truth. So what I said earlier, I don't know if you caught it, but it's the darkness that brings you to the light. People always, talk about going through the darkness, or you see people that's all peace, love, and light. Bitch, it's dark, hate, and rain over here. Ain't no peace, love, and light. I mean, there is, but in order to get to that peace, love, and light, what did you have to go to? You have to go through the darkness. And sometimes those dark parts of us still remain, and they're not always a negative thing, because when it comes down to people who are not good for you, your shadow self is going to come out in a ways to protect you from what is not meant for you, or what is out to hurt you, or what is not good for your spirit. So that bitch shut the fuck up part of you, of your shadow self, that's what comes in, when it comes to the peace, love, and light of you. So you can be peace, love, and light to the right spirits, or the right people, or the right energies. But that's just in a sense to say that shadow and light have to come together to create the balance of a person. You can't elevate to peace, love, and light if you've never been through, the dark and the anger and the rain and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely the Panther on there definitely represents, having to walk through the darkness. But again, let's get in tune with purification and things like that. And then we have number 23, which is Milk Thistle. And the theme of that is Peaceful Warrior. With that card, I'm really getting what the outcome of the cat's claw, the purification, and the angel trumpet, the death. The peaceful warrior is what is going to come out of, people as a tribe, collective, or individual. When you're coming together, or when you're individually letting things die, you're purifying, and then you're becoming this peaceful warrior. It may not be a peaceful warrior for you, but that in a sense is saying you're becoming the person that you're supposed to become. You're finding peace through the purification, through the death and the letting go and the shedding of the old self. So in a sense, the message is let things go, let things die, let your old self die, and purify yourself so that you can become new and in the end, you're gonna reach exactly who it is that you've manifested you would be this whole time.
Woo.
And I hope y'all receive that message. You can either receive it or leave it.
Thank you so much for that. And I know, well, I don't know how anybody else gonna receive it, but I know I receive it because I know I was telling somebody that's what I feel like I'm going through with the old version and the new version of myself. Like
And we change, maybe every year, maybe every couple of months, but we definitely let ourselves die and come back more than once. So it's a process.
Nine, I want to thank you for being a guest on here. Thank you for delivering that word and just sharing your knowledge and your experiences. I really, really appreciate it. Um, all of Nine's information, how to reach them through social media, and everything else will be linked in this episode. And once again, thank you so much for joining me on here. I really appreciate it.
And I thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think, please keep doing what you're doing because you're giving real healers and people like that to have a platform. And this is also your platform to show who you are. So let me give my thanks, just for your existence. And I hope I didn't talk too much because I do be a motor mouth. Like, if people give me the opportunity to share my knowledge or, my story, I get talking. But I'm definitely grateful, definitely thankful. So we gotta do this again sometime.
We do. It definitely, and I said this to myself in my head, like we got to make this a part two. Like I feel like this was the surface, but I feel like even though somebody may disagree, I feel like there's still some stuff that needs to be dug into, but we'll save that for part two.
Right, come down the rabbit hole with us on part two. But peace, love, and bliss to everybody, and thank you.
Alrighty, bye.
All right, peace.